look, I'm upset and I'm sad and I'm disappointed, but in ways that are just okay to be.
Are we breaking up? This video is sponsored by Squarespace, and in full disclosure, this video is also all over the place. If you've been following along, you know that my sister immigrated from Canada to America so that we could work together a month ago. But due to how crazy the move has been, we weren't able to start as soon as we'd hoped, and with mounting complications, we both started to separately wonder if we should even attempt to start at all. So we came together to talk about it and to figure it out, and spoiler alert, we didn't. But I still thought it was valuable to share because not everything can get wrapped up in a bow in a 20-minute video, and that's okay, and we'll be okay. Even if right now neither of us is totally okay. Lauren actually began a Squarespace website called MakeTheShiftCoach.com, where she's been blogging about her not so Hollywood move to Hollywood. And if you are interested in learning more about what she's been going through, that is the place to go. She chose Squarespace because it's where you can build a stunning all-in-one platform for your website, online store, mailing list, memberships, and blog. Lauren does personal and career coaching through her Squarespace site, where you can sign up for her membership club, and you can also sign up to get a free consultation with her. And speaking of free, to see what Squarespace could do to power your big idea, try it out for free, like really free. You don't have to enter in your credit card information. Just go to squarespace.com/shambooty, which is also the link you should visit to get 10% off your purchase of a website or a domain when you are ready to launch. Your hands are sweaty.
Are they?
Palms are sweaty.
Mom spaghetti.
Hey.
Wow.
Okay, so you've been here for a month now. How are you feeling? The people want to know. I'd like to know.
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I read the blogs. I watch the videos. I feel like we haven't really got a chance to talk, but I think that's okay, unless it's not been okay with you.
I think it's okay. And the reason why I think it's okay is because, you know, one of the things that you were talking about in your video last week with BetterHelp was like almost this barrier about talking about how you really feel while you're going through it, because you don't want the person in your family, like you kept repeating in that video, like,
if you're a family member and you're watching this video, I just want to put a massive caveat. I am not saying any of this to trigger a response out of you.
I just knew that I needed to process it. I needed to get through it. And I didn't want you to carry the burden of me processing something that had to do with you while I was in that fog.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So what is the thing that you would like to say to me?
So if you want to know how I was feeling, I was feeling, the word failure comes to mind. Yeah, the word failure comes to mind. I got here and there was this sense of there's so many things happening and I can't drop any balls, but I've invested in this future working with you, but I couldn't be there for you working in the way that you wanted me to be there for you because I didn't have a car, because I was moving, because I was trying to tend to the kids and their mental health and helping them to cope with the move. I was still trying to figure it all out. I was overtired, sleep deprived, and just felt very out of control. And I didn't feel like I was in control of how I could be present for you. And so I was just trying to do little things here and there where I could, but I was only doing half the gig. And I'm being generous and even thinking I was even giving you half of a person. And I think that when...
I hope that's not half, because I hope it wasn't half.
What do you mean?
I hope you weren't like working at half capacity, because it felt like 10% to me. Sorry.
But it was 10% because that's...
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, we actually initially planned for 0%.
We initially planned for 0%, but I didn't want to fail. I didn't want you to fail. And you said something to me that I tried not to get defensive about, but it was one of those things that just kept repeating in my mind, like over and over again. You're doing things that aren't valuable. And one of the other things you said to me was, I, as in you, am just fearful that I'm the last priority. First, like, we'll talk about the first one first, was like, did Shannon hire the wrong person? If what you needed was a person who was fluent in sex and intimacy and journalism, who could write your scripts, who could, you know, come up with concepts for your content, if that's what you need, who could write sex toy campaigns, you hired the wrong person. You are overpaying the wrong person, because that's not what this girl is good at doing. It's not on her resume at all. And then there was this fear that kicked in that was like, okay, well, then once Shan realizes that I'm not the right person, and then now we have to start taking away from the money that was agreed to for the job. And then what does that do to the scenario that I built for this family here? And so now I'm not just letting you down, but I'm letting my whole family down. That was the feeling. That was the crushing weight. And then when you said, I just don't want to be the last priority, it was like, if I even had to like rank who was in the last priority, my kids were way at the bottom. So the fact that you felt that I was giving you even less than what I thought that I was even giving my kids made me feel like, wow, you're doing nothing right. And for everything that I had done, while not asking for anything, felt like still made you feel like you were the bottom of the priority list, was difficult.
I think there's just certain things that played in my mind where I started to piece things together. Like, did Lauren think this was an at-home job? Because I remember even making a comment to you when you were in Canada, like, you're going to miss the flexibility of your job. And you were like, why? It's going to be the same with you. And then I was just like, is it? And then I think something else had happened and you were like, well, you know, I don't have to be there every day. And then I was like, you don't? And I think instead of me actually asking and us really nailing down what we wanted out of this and what this was going to be, and then I also realized that not to say that I baited you, but I knew what would excite you out of this role, and I know what it's going to eventually be. So I feel like I led with those things, like creating this entire business that doesn't exist yet, right? That's educational base, and organizing a team and managing people, and then eventually expanding into talent. Like, these are the 7-year things that I see, you know, maybe even the educational part is a year from now, but none of those are like really in the immediate. But I also think what I didn't say is, in order for you to even do those things, you have to get to know the business, period. Like, you have to know everything in and out, because then the building of something new is going to make so much more sense. Then when you're thinking about how do we create systems, you have to know what our system is first. So I think I didn't communicate that, like, in between this other part, which I think is more what you're accustomed to, which is like management and delegation, is just knowing the business of what Shared does, period. And because you've been out of the radio and television mix for a bit, I looked at it like, even though these aren't your areas of expertise, I thought you would enjoy them. Or like, so I guess I had also started to feel like, wow, is Lauren the right person for this job? Or did I promise her a job that I'm actually not really totally offering? So that's where I kind of came to a point of like, I have to communicate to her what I'm looking for and apologize for if that wasn't communicated clearly before. And then also let her know that there is a way out. So I'm not forcing you into a role that you're not going to be happy in, because I think the one thing I wanted to hear you communicate is an excitement for it. I feel like when I listened to the episode with JD, I was like, there's a lot of like trepidation. And I'm like, I'm offering a really cool opportunity that I know is going to change my sister's life. And I kind of want to hear you express it like that. Like, you're going to get an opportunity to be a part of something that I think is really exciting and cool and fun and can be and should be all of those things. And I think everything that you're going to do was going to have a really practical application for every part of your life.
Yeah. And that's fair. Just know that when I was doing that, just the past 3.5 weeks, I have not been there. I have not celebrated. Because like I said, I can't see, it's just too foggy. I'm in a fog right now because of everything. There's just so much. Like, coming here has been so much. And I feel like I'm failing, that I can't at the time think to myself, wow, this is such a great opportunity for me to learn and be better and grow myself. It's all those things. It's just not where I am in that moment. I don't know. I don't even like where this is going. I know. It just sounds like we're arguing at this point, and that's not the intent of this.
Yeah. Should we quit?
I'd say, let's finish this and then let's start fresh. It's all a moot point, because at the end of the day, until we're working together, we just don't know what we're talking about. And it's just frustrating right now because there's so many different phases to an organization. There's the storming, the forming, the norming, performing, right? Those are the phases. So what we're feeling now just makes a lot of sense. And I'm okay with that because I know that it's systematic. It's the storming, the forming, the norming, and the performing. You didn't know these things till I said it.
I did know them. I knew them very well.
So I kind of felt like my light was so dim and it just wasn't serving anybody. So I had to take the space to restore that light for myself. That when people ask you, when you say, what do you need? It's just time. And like I said, I haven't even been here a full month yet. And I'm turning the corner. I know that this is a time thing.
And in the meantime, people can read about your experience on your Squarespace blog.
My Squarespace blog, yes.
Which this video happens to be sponsored by. Shout out to my sister, who I love with all my heart. And if you love Lauren too, today is the day to show it. August 19th is her birthday. Please go to her Instagram and show her some love. Or furthermore, go over to her Squarespace website, maketheshiftcoach.com.
Listen, if you watched any videos on this channel before, then you know we are huge fans of Squarespace. Why? Well, for one, it's easy to use, even for me who has no idea how to code. With Squarespace, I get that custom look that looks stunning. They also have really in-depth analytics where you can gain powerful insights about your site visitors and how they interact with your content. And they have so much more. And I just want you to go see it for yourself. So head over to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/shambooty to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain.
Don't I give you that rush? I keep that loving raw. Don't need no candlelight, cause you feel like the morning sun. There ain't no end in sight. Put that shit on my life. This ain't no fantasy. We living on the edge tonight. I told her lay down, we can make a movie now. This ain't audition, you tripping over your